Program complete. Enter when ready.
So guys, the holodeck, the playground of the Enterprise, of Starfleet in general, these things are on every starship, right? They're even in Deep Space Nine. Quark's got them too. They calls them holosuites. But the holodeck has become really synonymous with the future tech of Starfleet, of Star Trek. And though many fans, all fans really know what a holodeck is, or they think they know what it is. But what exactly is a holodeck? Is it just a deck full of holograms? Holograms gone wild. There's a great spin-off, right? Holograms gone wild. But here, let's talk about what a holodeck really is and really what it is not. So, Star Trek The Next Generation fans feel that TNG, that Next Generation, introduced the holodeck. Not so fast. Star Trek The Animated Series actually introduced a kind of holodeck. It wasn't called the holodeck, it was called a recreation room. The rec room or the recreation room. Now, these recreation rooms, first introduced on the animated series in the episode The Practical Joker. They certainly were not as advanced, not as sophisticated as what Next Generation, the Enterprise D's holodeck, would offer to fans, but they certainly were the precursor to what would be gloriously known as the holodeck. What exactly is a holodeck? Fans watch Star Trek. They think they know, they feel they know. Here's the official wiki, here's the official description. A fictional device from the TV franchise Star Trek, using projected light beams and electromagnetic energy, which creates the illusion of solid objects, to create a realistic 3D simulation of a real or imaginary setting in which participants freely interact with the environment, as well as the objects, the characters, and sometimes in a predefined narrative. Like, for example, The Big Goodbye, one of my favorite Next Generation episodes from the first season. This is the first episode to fully utilize a holodeck and holography in an actual story. A full episode, whereas Encounter at Farpoint, we saw the first example, introduction of the holodeck, but it wasn't integral to the plot itself. So the nuts and bolts of a holodeck utilizes holography, projected light, force fields, and that's very important because a hologram has no substance, it has no solidity. So the holodeck employs low-powered force fields to push and pull when a real person, when a human is interacting in some way in the environment, in the game, so to speak, the program. And then finally, replicated matter. We all know how much people just go up to a replicator in Star Trek, like Picard, tea, Earl Grey, hot, and he gets his beverage. So the holodeck is employing that same technology. It's replicating food, clothing, or in many cases, or other objects. So the holodeck is sort of, in many ways, deceiving the person who is utilizing the program. The projected light figures and people or objects are not really there, but the force fields are giving it solid form, pushing and pulling and creating this illusion of solidity. And then again, the replicated matter, just as if Picard was asking for tea or Deanna Troi for one of her hot chocolate, her hot fudge sundaes, that replicated matter is real. So the holodeck food, water, it's real, essentially. For example, in Encounter at Farpoint, when Wesley goes in and Data's in there and then Riker, and they fall into the stream. When they walk out, when Wesley walks out, he tracks all the water. So that's real water, replicated water. And so for all intents and purposes, some of the holodeck trappings are real. So this is where some people might get confused. The holodeck is real. The things it produces and replicates and gives to the program user is real to a point and somewhat replicated matter. And then the other objects or the people, the characters, the the individuals that you're interacting with, these are projections of light with force fields to make them look real and feel real. And that gets us to very interesting pastimes and playtimes, like, for example, Lieutenant Barclay, where he explores the more romantic and lustful areas and opportunities that the holodeck offers. And also, of course, becomes sort of victim of holodeck addiction. And we all can be sort of, relating to maybe video game addiction or playing that too much, maybe being online, our cell phones. And in the Barclay episodes, Hollow Pursuits, of course, the main example and introduction, we learn that Lieutenant Barclay has become addicted to holographic playtime and fun. One of my favorite episodes. So evermore in our own real world, we are experiencing not a holodeck per se and completely, but for example, Hollywood has these video walls now. Instead of using green screen is sort of so yesterday. Now they use real-time video walls that can pretty much call up and simulate any environment, I guess anything. And so when characters from the film, when actors who are playing the characters are in front and interacting with these video walls, it's just as good or better than a green screen because it's all in real time, so that the camera and the production is sort of, seeing exactly the way it is instead of with a green screen later on in post-production. And video games keep getting better and better. So will a holodeck come about one day? I certainly hope so. We're very close. Just let's all be careful and not get addicted. No holo addiction. Hope you're enjoying. Hope you're subscribing. See you soon.
Program complete. Enter when ready.